Afghanistan Update 2.0.
So Biden f***ed up with Afghanistan and let the Taliban in.
There is still a lot of members of the Taliban at the airport, and everyone is trying to flee the Taliban, which is why they are, well, obviously heading to the airport. But commercial flights have now ceased fully, and they're not flying there at all since it's very unsafe. So the only planes that are going in is military planes or jets or helicopters or military transportation, really. So as you can see now, and we'll see later through the video, people are trying to, well, obviously evacuate, and they're all heading to the airport. And the military jets are taking people, but they kind of caught for everyone, and everyone wants to be included. So you can see in these images, they fit 600 people in a C-17. They weren't sitting, they were all standing, and they squished them in because, well, of course they opened the door, and everyone started rushing in, and they decided not to kick anyone out, actually, and generally these can hold, like, about 400 passengers or less, I'm not exactly too sure. But commercial flights have stopped. Even our Australian Prime Minister, Scott Morrison, admitted they probably won't be able to get everyone out of Afghanistan, and that's a few Australians that are there, so civilians can... Yeah, it's probably not going to happen. Even with the commercial flights, you still needed to get a ticket and everything, and if they don't have access to internet or whatever, and you can't really buy it there, and you'd need money and everything, so that's hard. But all this has happened because Biden has chose to withdraw the troops. And not just because of that, Trump was withdrawing the troops, except he was using actual strategy and doing it slower. But they just know Biden's weak. There's really no other way to say that. And it's been going on for 20 years. So... Well, people have been asking me about this, so I'm going to elaborate a bit more into it. So it basically started after 9/11 and George Bush started it. It was, I can understand trying to keep the Taliban out, but it was quite unnecessary. Why send Americans there to, they were just sending Americans to die and get killed, and Obama also racked it up a lot more when he said he would stop it. Even Biden in 2014, as you can see in the footage, they admitted to stopping it. That's why they defeated Mitt Romney in 2012, because they said they would withdraw everyone from Afghanistan. Did they do that? No. They broke their promise, but no one cares about that.
Complete this timeline.
What we do not want to do in 2014.
What we do not want to do.
Yeah, both Obama and Biden said the Taliban are fully defeated many times, and they said they won't come back, and they're gone. But I did predict this a few weeks ago, and then Biden said the Taliban haven't taken over yet. And he also said they asked what's the chance of them taking over, and he said it won't happen, and they're as prepared as any other military. But they did give them equipment, and even during Trump and under the other presidents, they did train them, and they left equipment. That's how Taliban ended up getting over 500 tanks as of yesterday. So, well, not as of yesterday, but yesterday, so probably even more today. They also got some US military planes. They don't really know how to fly them, but they've got planes and other equipment because the US left them there, with fault of one Biden, because he kind of took out all the troops before withdrawing things. But obviously they're not going to take 500 tanks back to the US and just keep them somewhere. So they left them there for the Afghans, but they're a bit incapable, so that's the second issue as well. Funny thing with the plane is, what do you see? As many people have pointed out, I didn't actually fully notice it, to be honest, but it's all like 95% men, so there's no children or women really going on. And they have a lot of planes stranded because of COVID. So you'd think military could have picked up some commercial planes to take passengers in and out. Well, they have planes, and all the airlines are advertising LGBTQ all the time and stuff like that, so you would think they could maybe help out, and it would look like really good advertising for them. But no. And with the C-17 that had over 600 passengers in it, guess where Biden is sending that? He is sending that to the United States. So instead of organising a deal with another neighbouring country and having them take them in, so that instead of doing a 10-hour flight or however long it is, they can just do a 1-hour flight, so it'll be, well, 10 times quicker, and they can take 10 times as many people. He's taking them to the US. Who knows what they will do with them? It will probably be like the immigration issue from Mexico. Yeah, they left all the equipment there. Biden, he's trying really hard because, well, all Republicans and people who weren't solid Democrats already hated or disliked him, and now he's trying to, well, be more popular. So he took it away, and he's saying he didn't regret his decision, even though he did, and he's talking about how the military and blah blah blah, and he's talking about how the buck stops here, so he's trying to steal Harry Truman's quote. Not really working as well. And also, if you are on Instagram, just watch out. Every single aviator is posting this, and they're all saying all different stuff, so a lot of it is not factual. It's just people seeing something, or everyone is saying pray for Afghanistan, which doesn't really do much. You're just saying pray for Afghanistan. We could say like it's bad there or whatever, but it doesn't really do much. And then they're saying false information, and people take that and they share it, and it spreads like a wildfire. They're doing fake fundraisers. A fundraiser over like $10 million. If you are very rich and you don't already know this and we're going to donate, don't donate unless you see actual proof. Even if you see 2 people, it's not actual proof. Even with the Israel situation, Palestine said there were 2 Palestinians who were shot by Israeli rockets. Is it true? They were 2 Palestinians. People think, well, Israel shot them. But no, actually. People who shot them were Palestinians, but the rocket just misfired and hit someone else. Even they showed a person in a white suit who was banging against a metal wall. I know I'm going a little bit off topic, and they said he was an ambulance worker and he was traumatized at what he was saying about Palestinians burnt or killed or whatever. No, there's no evidence to support that. So just watch out with that. But yeah, the situation is quite bad. We can see everyone trying to climb on the plane and go inside the landing gear and everything. Of course, the military can kind of do things to prevent that. Like with the landing gear, that was a bit more preventable. But if you have 5,000 people trying to go to the plane, but you have a few hundred people initially surrounding the plane while you're trying to take off, you don't have much of an option except to take off, because you can't pull those people off. It's just impossible, and you're going to be overpowered, so unless you shoot them, but that's kind of counteracting the whole thing of saving them. A few people asking this, so I'm just going to address from my side of view. Obviously, I'm somewhat educated, but not fully. What should they do? Well, if they have more military jets, well, if they're taking the view of evacuating civilians and United States forces and United States civilians and other people, then just get a whole heap of like C-17 or other high density aircraft and just send them in at once to try to take people in, and if you can, try to have them all at the same time so you don't have 500 people jumping in every plane and dying. Then try and organize with other countries. If you 380s grounded, like sometimes they do in Africa, because they always have it like in the US and stuff like that, then you could try to take those. They're not doing anything with COVID since they're grounded, and send them there to pick up people and take them nearby. Don't fly them to the US, but initially, before you sort all that out, just take them nearby to another country. You don't have much enough option. Also, everyone's asking me with the withdrawal. I've had over like 10 messages asking me my opinion about it, and well, in my opinion, yes, they did need to go out of Afghanistan. They shouldn't be sending people to die. I know the last person who died was like a year ago, but still, and getting injured and the whole lot, and money. They spent like over $1 trillion on it, and just withdraw them, but do it strategically. Now Biden is sending in more troops. As we can see, Senator, I've just said mine, like it's either Representative or Senator Nikki Haley. She shared from her Instagram, this is fully, like, this is verified, so she just said, God bless the now 7,000 members of our military in Afghanistan trying to clean up Biden's mess. Note, when he came into office, there were only 2,500 members though. So Trump staggered it down. He probably could have done it a little bit faster, but we're still doing on the safe side. He had 2,500 people there. There are currently 7,000 people. Biden has increased that, and that's going to increase. There's people traveling there as we speak now, so that's going to fully go up. So he's withdrawn the troops and then put more back, which is not really effective. Now some of the Democrats are trying to realize, how can we make Trump seem bad? So they said, can you imagine if Biden followed Trump's social media announcement that the US should withdraw by May 1st? Talk about making that even worse. Someone has also asked me about a similar question. So basically, no, Trump would have done it more strategically like he did before, and it would have been alright, and yeah, this wouldn't have happened, or if it did happen, it would have been on a much, much smaller scale. But that's basically all the information we have at the moment. I'm doing some more on my Instagram and some on my Discord server too. My Instagram's mmaviation.yt. So if you want to have updates or ask me questions, I'll probably be doing a questionnaire there. If this video does well, gets lots of views and people commenting, then I'll probably make like a Q&A thing for this as well. But that's everything we have at the moment. So yeah, we hope that everyone can get out safely, of course, even though saying that doesn't do much. But it is a bad situation, and hopefully things will change, but it's going to most likely get a lot worse before it does get better. So anyways, that is the end of today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, have a nice day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye guys.
Complete this timeline.
What we
do not want to do
in 20.
What we do not want to do.
The Taliban is not the North Vietnamese army. It is not at all comparable.
It is extremely comparable.
What do you do if the deadline arrives and it is obvious the Afghans are unable to handle their security? Do we still leave? And I believe Governor Romney, you go first.
Well, we're going to be finished by 2014. And when I'm president, we'll make sure we bring our troops out by the end of 2014. The commanders and the generals there are on track to do so. We've seen progress over the past several years. The surge has been successful, and the training program is proceeding apace. There are now a large number of Afghan security forces, 350,000, that are ready to step in to provide security, and we're going to be able to make that transition by the end of 2014. So our troops will come home at that point.
The military says we need a smaller, leaner army. We need more special forces. We don't need more M1 tanks. What we need is more UAVs.
Some of the military. I know that's something
not some of the military. That was the decision of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, recommended to us and agreed to by the president.
Who answers to a civilian leader?
They made the recommendation first.
Okay.
We don't want to lose the gains we've gotten. We want to make sure that the Taliban does not come back in and give Al-Queda a safe haven. To complete this timeline, what we do not want to do
in 2014.
What we do not want to do is give our allies reason to trust us less, and our enemies.
The only way they step up is say, fellas, we're leaving. We've trained you. Step up. Step up.
Let me go back.
That's the only way it works.
We want to make sure that 2014 is successful. That's why we want to make sure that we give our commanders what they say they need to make it successful. We don't want to extend beyond 2014.
Militarily since 2001. The Afghan troops have 300,000 well-equipped as any army in the world, and an air force, against something like 75,000 Taliban.
Taliban takeover of Afghanistan now inevitable?
No, it is not. Because you have the Afghan troops have 300,000 well-equipped as any army in the world, and an air force, against something like 75,000 Taliban. It is not inevitable.
Mr. President, thank you very much. Your own intelligence community has assessed that the Afghan government will likely collapse.
That is not true.
Can you please clarify what they have told you about whether that will happen or not?
That is not true. They did not reach that conclusion.
So what is the level of confidence that they have that it will not collapse?
The Afghan government.
They're just chanting death to America, but they seem friendly at the same time. It's utterly bizarre.